Well, hey, howdy, y'all. We're just moving right along on this. I like these real short guys. I love the fact that everything's working perfectly. It's absolutely wonderful. All right. So we're now on to number 5. And I'm kind of glad that we're going to go through these really quick because it gives us a nice rundown on what's going on. We got the negative and the positive sides of these going on. So we're at number 5. Chapter 5. Chapter 5 is going to be about our bodies. Have you been noticing this along the line? That even the numbers of our chapters are telling us the same situation here. I mean, when it comes down to it, number 5 is about the vessel, it's about our body. Let's go and see what happens in chapter 5, Genesis. Okay, let's see here. Genesis 4. Let's move on to the next one. Genesis 5. Are we doing it? Yes, we are. Again, with the 4, and I'm going to drum this in your head because this is how it works. This is the mind, the intellect of our body. This is the color black a good number of times. It's also the sun. It's the earth. It's our mind, our lower mind. Over here is our emotional side, having to do with going up and down. And this would be in charge of the moon, our emotions. That's what this is. And this is the second stage of our consciousness of water. When we go in to find God, we have to jump, we have to get off the land and jump into the ocean in order to do that. And usually they just want you to get into your boat, which is your body. You put yourself, or some of the stories says, you're supposed to enter into your closet and shut the door. That's how it works. And so when you find yourself over here, you're floating out in the middle of the water, and that's where you're supposed to drop your net over to the right side of the boat. All right, that's the right side of our boat. This is where we go to meet Lord, or at the same time, this could be where the bitch sits in here, because this is the second beast, also still in the number system, that represents religion or the strange woman, which is the whole reason because Adam took the advice of the wife over the mother, and that brought him down to a lower place. All right. And it's our emotions that have drug us down. They are the fallen angels. This is our physical side of us. This is the land, the nations. This is our body. This is we're bread. This is the sacrifice. It's the Lamb of God. It's our body. Also, the third phase of consciousness, where we meet and find where Jesus comes and meets us in the air. This is theta frequency, the third stage of our conscious raising event. The final is fire. Fire would wind up on the good side. This is the mother. This is the Holy Spirit. This is where we get heaven. But right now, everything's not looking so good, Since there's really no Jerusalem or anything built, it's just the consciousness itself. But we have already fallen out of grace with God at this particular time. So anyways, let's see how 5 is going to read on this time, okay? 5 is about the body, the vessel, the sacrifice. Let's see what it says. All right. This is the book of the generations of Adam in the day that God created man. In the likeness of God made he him. This is this first part. Male and female created he them, and blessed them, and called their name Adam in the day when they were created. We're still only getting one thing being made here, and that's our brain, okay? And Adam lived 130 years. That's 3 plus the 1, that's 4. So after this, and begot a son in his own likeness, and after his image, and his name was called Seth. So he was like himself. So this is not a good thing. And in the days of Adam, after he had begotten Seth, were 800 years, and he begat sons and daughters. At all the days and all the days of Adams that Adam lived were 930 years, and he died. So that'd be a 9 and 30, 9, 10, 11, 12. And then he died. And Seth lived 105 years and begot Enos. So this is 6, representing our Kundalini part of us. Seth lived 100. So what I'm getting out of this is that Adam actually did wind up making it out of this problem that he was in. So we're talking about the 5th one here. And all the days that Adam lived were 930 years. That's 9 plus 3. So that's 9, 10, 11, 12. So that 12 represents, well, do we know that 12 is representing actually making it over to the other side? Do we know that whenever we found out that it's actually a problem of his? I think he's showing that, this is when he died. And he had someone else who came up just after him. And in representing in this particular point, it says 6. This is Seth. And he lived 105 and 5 years. That's 5 and 1 is 6. So he never made it over the side either. He only got to the this is where they talk about the vine being cut, keeping you from ever going over to the other side. We ain't got no positive information from this story yet, okay? It's showing that it just ain't working. So number 7, and Seth lived after he begot Enos 807 years. So let's see what this physical side of us comes to. 807 years. 7 says 14, 15, 5 and 1 is 6. He never made it over the top neither. All right. And the final world. And all the days of Seth were 912 years, and he died. So we're 900. 9, 10, 11. Oh, well, he didn't make it either. 11 represents 2. So he never made it any place neither. So that was the first set of worlds that we're talking about. And we're talking about our body. We're talking about, they died. These people died. None of them had this everlasting life and all this here, but they were dead to begin with. They were already in this death place where they weren't able to go up and get rid of their sins. They were never to go up and meet with God and cleanse everything and this is what I do. Never came in and corrected themselves. They never came in and physician healed that wound inside themselves. No, it was not offered to them. It's not offered to him and none of these people. All right, it's just showing that just if the land was cursed and your brother was taken out and you're gone and you have no way to reach this other side. And look, his brothers, his sons, and his sons, and all these sons, they all died. They all died. Not one of them has been brought on to ever yet for forever and ever, forever and ever. That's 12. Let's go to 13. All right, and Canaan lived 7 years and begat Michael. All right, 7 is a good one. He lived for 7 years. That's a good one. This is 7, and it's also got a 12 beside it. This is scripture 12. So, wait, 10, 9, 4, 8, 9, 11, 12. That's 12. That would be this one. And Cain lived 70 years and begat Mahil. All right, so this is a positive situation over here. All right, the 12th. And Canaan lived 70 years and begat such and such. All right, that's a good sign. And Canaan lived after he begat such and such 840 years. Let's see what that is. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And begat sons and daughters. And all the days of Canaan were 910 years. That's another 11. And 5 years and begat Jared. Hey, all of these, 8, 9, 10, 11, These are all 11s and 6s, and it's just, you guys, this is not, these are, no. These people that they're talking about, these are the ones that are at the beginning of times. In the beginning of times, these are all this, like, Enoch and all this. They built cities after their names, and these cities wind up being what's on this particular part of us. This is the flesh. This is where the nations are. So when you're stuck to the outside, when you're under the sun, those things that are under the sun, the outside world, that's what this is about. That when they are under the sun, they are in the nations. They are all these cities, and they are the outside of us. This is considered what is outside. This is mankind and the skin and stuff like that. All right, so let's go a little further. All of these people begat sons and daughters, and I want to try to. They went all the way down. We got them all again. They all here's number 21, and Enoch lived 65 years. So it'd be 5 and 5 is 10 and 11. So it's another 11. And Enoch walked with God after he begot Methuselah 300 years and begat sons and daughters. All right, so here's Enoch 6. This is number 21. 21 is going to be some kind of an intervention of some kind, right? So Enoch lived 65 years and begat Methuselah. And so this is 65. So this would be 5 and 6 mixed together. It would be 11. Still didn't get anywhere. Enoch walked with God after he begat Methuselah 300 years. Now, there's a good 3. There's a nice 3. And begat sons and daughters. And in the days of Enoch were 365 years. So we've got a 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 14, 1 is 5. It's still about the flesh. And Enoch walked with God. And he was not, for God took him. And Methuselah lived after he begat Lamech 782 years and begat sons. So we got 782. That's 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. And then 17 is an 8. So it's a control number. So they're stuck too. They're stuck wherever they are. And in the days of Methuselah were 969 years. So there's 2 9s. 2 9s is 18, right? 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Yes, it was 18 and 6. 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Put those together, you get 6. We didn't make it over the top yet. And he called on his name Noah, saying, "This shall be the comforter." Oh, this is really good, you guys. Let's find out real quick. Let me get my worlds in order. We got 4, 12, 16, 17, 19, 20, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 31, 32. Okay, so let's do the last ones. Number 29. And he called his name Noah. All right. Saying, "This same shall comfort us concerning our work and toil of our hands, because of the ground which the Lord hath cursed." That's this one here. He's telling the one that's coming soon, Noah is going to be the one that's going to try to take away this curse about the Lord, about the land, from their hands. It's this idea that, God has cursed the land. The story's told us all this already. And while we're talking about this, the 5th chapter, we haven't found any one of these people that have made it over. And you do that by the numbers. They came to 11, which is going to represent number 2, never getting anywhere. Remember, these places aren't open for us. The number 6 is the top of the ladder. There is no 7. There's no intervention. And then there was an 8 here saying, hey, you are under control of someone else. So this is what we're getting out of this, out of the fifth chapter. And the fifth chapter is talking about our body. And so here we are at the end of the last worlds. Lamech lived and begot Noah 595 years and begat sons and daughters. So we have a 5 and a 9. So 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and another 5, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. 9 and 1 is 10. We're getting something along the lines of God now, where something beautiful is going to happen, because I guess this is their man, Noah, he's the next guy, all right? And all the days of Lamech was 777 years. There's a lot of sevens in there. That's a great thing, all right? So we have, and he died. Let's count 7. 7 is 14. 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. 21 is 3. I don't think that we have made it over to the other side yet. Remember, 3 in these times right now are before Noah. Before Noah can turn things, that turns the tide on this curse of God. All right. Everyone is still stuck on the other side. And Noah was 500 years old. And Noah begat Shem, Ham, and Josephus. And Noah was 500 years old. All right, so that's only a 5. He's just himself, just a man. And it's also number 32, the end of the scripture. 3 and 2 is 5. Noah was 500 years old, and Noah begot Shem, Ham, and Josephus. These are the 3 sons. It's a beautiful story, you guys. So anyways, we are now moving into the 6th one, okay? Now, I'm going to tell you this right about now. Just let me find you. Because this is some terrible foreshadowing that I'm going to tell you. Do you know that 6 is talking about, that chapter 6 is going to have something to do about the vine, all right? The vine. This idea of our Kundalini system and going through the water, this part right here. You just know it's going to happen because it's the next chapter. And so it's going to talk about Noah as he goes to lift us out of the problem that we have with the brother. This idea that we need something to go between us and here. And this is where we get the covenant from God with the rainbow covenant and stuff. This should be what we get, all right? If it doesn't happen now in chapter 6, which is chapter 6 will be about our Kundalini system. But if this is as far as we've gotten so far, we may have to wait until the 7th chapter to find out about the ark and stuff like that, because when it comes to rest on the mountain, it is God's now. He plants a vineyard and it's mine now. And this is where our covenant comes in and everything becomes 8, a control situation where I'm now, in possession of the land and it's mine, and of course all the neat stories that claim from that. But we're working along those lines. But right now, everyone has not made it past the 6. And when we get into even future stories, we'll find that the Jewish people are all cut off at that point too. No one goes over to that. That's why they celebrate their Sabbath day on the 6th, all right, on a Saturday. Unbeknownst to them, because that's the way they say that's Sabbath. But Sabbath is always the 7th. It's always number 7. And, depending on how you count, where you wind up, 7 winds up being our crown chakra. So anyways, this was a really good read. All of the people that were built, it's the people that they talked about. This is the names of things that are representing the outside of us. And nobody ever made it out there yet. No one's done it. But it did put some foreshadowing that we are going to get someone named Noah out of this bunch at the very end of all this bunch who's going to take care of that problem that we have with God and the tilling of the soil. All right? And so I only think that we're going to get more information about this as we go. We can go on to the chapter 6 next. All right? Hope you're getting something out of this.